Good day, everyone, and welcome to your RRS class. And today we are going to discuss the Hinduism origin. Hinduism is a collection of religious beliefs that develop slowly over a long period of time. Hindus believe that their religion helps you free from the soul of sadness, or free your soul from the sadness, disappointments, and mistakes of everyday life. Unlike other major religions like Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, Hinduism cannot be traced back to a single founder because it is started by the people themselves. It is not known who founded Hinduism, nor is there a consensus on when it was established. The religion was at first attributed to the Aryans. The Aryans are those white Turks or white Arabs. And at the same time, Aryans who became parts of Asia and Europe later on at around 1500s BCE. However, based on more recent studies, the Aryans are no longer regarded as the founders of Hinduism. Instead, Hinduism is now simply described as the product of spiritual, religious, social practices of the people from a large portion of South Asia, including countries of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal, which means that Hinduism was founded because of the people's culture, beliefs, and then their day-to-day life, and of course social practices. So that's why Hinduism was not really considered as a religion that has been founded by a person, but a group of people. And here in Hinduism was traced in the Indus Valley civilization, and some of the earliest manifestation of Hindu beliefs were found in this civilization in India and in this valley and in same region as well as in the early Indo-European cultures. And this term or the terms Hindu and Hinduism were not coined by Hindus themselves. The Greeks associated the name Hindu with those people living beyond the Sindhu or Indus River. During that time, Hindus are identified merely in the geographical sense. So it was only in 19th century when the terms Hindu and Hinduism began to be used in the religious sense. It also currently refers to a set of cultural practices observed by the communities who follow this religion. One practice is the caste system in India, which we know it's very familiar. The social classes of India, which was known to be the caste system, where people are subject to social stratification based on their ethnicity and social class. The origin of Hinduism eventually spread beyond India and its neighboring countries in Asia, and through trade and immigration. The records point to the early existence of Hinduism in Borneo in the 4th century. And in the late 19th century, translated copies of some and the most important Hindu scriptures were already available in the West and spread all throughout Asia. And then they were so much, or they had so much regard with the supreme being, yeah, and then they called their supreme being Brahman, which is considered as the highest god of the Hinduism believers. And then they also regarded Brahman as a unifying existence and ultimate divine reality. According to Hinduism, Brahman is manifested in everything in the universe and consciousness of all. So Brahman exists in everything and everyone. There is oneness and interconnectedness in all entities in the universe. This omnipresence of Brahman also gives rise to Hindu practice of ahimsa or non-violence in respect for all life forms, including plants and non-human contents or non-animal human animals. So their main gods are three: Brahma as the god of creation, Shiva as the god of destruction, and Vishnu as the god with the power to sustain and preserve the universe or the builders. And then the sacred texts of Hinduism, aside from their belief in Brahman as supreme being, Hindus also worship other gods who are considered representations of Brahman. They seek the help of the gods and goddesses in times of need. And that's why Hinduism is considered a religion that is polytheistic because they believe in many gods or in the gods and goddesses. It is also known, their deity is known as the devas, the gods, and the devis, the goddesses. This term or the terms both mean divine and radiant. So the main gods of Hinduism, Trimurti, different images of the gods and deities are created by great Hindu thinkers and artists. And you always see these gods of Hinduism. They are illustration of their gods. Hinduism is something referred to as Sanatana Dharma, which translates to eternal law. This law applies to all Hindus regardless of the classification in the caste system and transcends time and local practices of the religion. And Dharma, just like the Buddhism, refers to the religious and moral laws governing all people's action and lives. That means their doctrine, their guidelines, and at the same time, the list of the beliefs of this particular religion. And then they have this avatar as considered to be an incarnation of Hindu deity on earth in various forms, including animals and living beings. Avatars have appeared throughout time in order to ensure humans do not ultimately succumb to evil forces. These avatars also exist in order to restore cosmic order. And of course, the famous belief of Hinduism, karma, which the law of cause and effect in also related with Buddhism, the cause, law, and effect, which means that whatever you do to your brethren, to other people, will also somehow in time, it will also come back and it will also happen to you. So karma. And then the other famous belief, the reincarnation, that the Hindu phenomenon of the Atman's immortality. Through incarnation or the incarnation, the Atman will repeatedly undergo birth and rebirth until it finally attains liberation. And then very familiar moksha. The moksha can be regarded as the end of the cycle of birth and rebirth. So it is a stage in life where one has already attained the ultimate liberation of soul. So when you are not yet reached the highest peak of moksha, then you will experience birth in the birth until it will ultimately attain your liberation. So that the attainment is moksha. So that's why this is also about the related or connected belief of the Buddhism, which is enlightenment. Here in Hinduism, also the term is moksha, or later they also regarded this as nirvana. So other important terms of Hinduism, the puja and Hindu worship. The puja is the central act of Hindu worship, or the rituals. The devotees connects and communicate with the Hindu deity. That is how they worship their gods, and it is called puja. So the Hindu or Hindus believe that performing puja enables them to gain strength from the deities because they somehow taken strength from these particular gods and deities that they are intending to pray and worship. And then they have also sacred texts like Shruti, and these are classified as Vedas, or Vedas are classified as the Shruti texts in Hinduism and are regarded as the foundation of the religion. So the Vedas, from the Sanskrit word meaning knowledge, contain spiritual teachings encompassing all aspects of life. And the different Vedas will be discussed later. But the term Vedas is the origin of the word Vedic, which is used to refer one of the earliest forms of Indian religion, as also known as Buddhism. This religion was practiced by the Indo-Europeans from Iran who came to India about 1500s BC. So followers of the Vedic religion believe in many gods as well as some goddesses. And then also the rishis or the seers and the sages received the Vedas from divine revelation. They are further said to have received the, the Vedas through intuition, meditation, and introspection. So that's why the four Vedas, or different books of Hinduism, namely the Rig, the Yajur, the Sama, and Atharva. The Rig Veda, or the knowledge of the verses, is the oldest of the four Vedas. It is also considered the most important because the Rig Veda consists of 1,028 hymns containing praise to gods or praises to gods. That means the Rig Veda are the songs or the list or the text of prayers. And then the Yajur Veda, or the knowledge of the sacrifice, contains instructions on how to conduct the Hindu rituals. These rituals contain or often involve performing sacrifices. And the different rituals and worships performed by the Hindu priests use they use the Yajur Veda in leading these ceremonies. And the Sama Veda, or the knowledge of song, contains also verses which are mostly from the Rig Veda, the same as with the Rig, the list and text of their worships on especially songs, which they chant and perform in the sacrificial rites. And then also the Atharva of a Veda, or the knowledge of the fire priest, is a later addition to the Vedas. This consider the different form or from the other three of Vedas, as its material does not necessarily pertain to the praise of God or sacrificial rituals. Instead, the Atharva Veda contains spells or incantations for healing different illnesses and casting away evil spirits. So this Atharva Veda is used to somehow casting out the evil spirits. Although each of the Vedas serves a different purpose, all of them teach that the purpose of human life is to realize and to know the absolute truth, and that just to live in a superficial manner. So the Vedas are all believed to provide insights on the real nature of the universe, the divine power, and the human soul. And then that's why each of the four Vedas is composed of four divisions: the Samhita collections, Brahmanas, the expositions, Aranyaka, the forest treatises, and Upanishads, or philosophical knowledge. And this division of Vedas has its own, again, characteristics, and at the same time, descriptions that would serve the Hinduism believers in their worship, and at the same time, uh, it contains also about instructions and values that Hindi or Hindu must possess. And again, the Sibriti text, which is remembered to constitute the other major category of texts in Hinduism, and are believed to enrich teachings provided by the Shruti texts. Then the Upanishads are sometimes classified as Gita texts. And this is very important to the Hinduism believers because it contains some important values that Hindus must practice and possess. Then also the Puranas contain myths and legends about the Hindu deities. It also contains stories of the battle between the gods and the evil forces. Then the Ramayana, in an Indian epic which teaches the values of duty and morality. The Mahabharata, meanwhile, is regarded as the history of war and peace in India. These are very important collections of lists of the beliefs and practices of the Hinduism believers. That's why very important also to the Hindu believers or the Hinduism believers, the ethics and morality, because these were based from the principle of Dharma, which the essence of Dharma can be seen in the following teaching by the Vyasa and the Hindu god who wrote the Mahabharata. So the very important value or morality, it says, do not do unto others what you do not wish done to yourself, and wish for others to what you desire and long for yourself. Very familiar. In Confucianism, this is about the golden rule. So observing Dharma entails practicing righteousness in one's life. And then in Hinduism, this one way through which an individual can live righteously by refraining from all forms of violence and treating all living beings with respect. So very important that in Hinduism, they also very particular in terms of respect and values. So, and then since Brahman exists in all life forms, violence towards another being would also lead to one's own destruction. So, Hinduism believers or the Hindus are also very particular in terms of destroying other people or other life forms. So, therefore, because they are doing this, because they want to achieve true happiness, and one has the right to experience this happiness. And then happiness with peace with himself, with the nature, and with God. Therefore, this intention to nonviolence is seen. And for instance, the Hindu practices like vegetarianism. And from nonviolence, Hindus also believe that righteousness can be attained by placing importance on truth, right conduct, love, and peace. So very familiar as well in Hinduism believers or in Hinduism about yogas. Um, we know that this is also the belief or the way of um, enhancing spirituality of Buddhism, because here in Hinduism, there are four pathways that can be taken to attain moksha, or the ultimate goal according to Hinduism. Hindus believe that yogas can help them achieve union with Brahman, like Buddhism. In yoga can, or the way of their prayer, like yogas, can also provide them the unity in mind, body, and spirit, and with the environment as well. Hindus also believe that the yogas are important knowing one's true self. This is also the way they meditate, contemplate, or the way they pray, yogas and Hinduism. So let's familiar ourselves with these four main goals of human life according to Hinduism, the kama, which refers to the virtuous pursuit of pleasure and affection. Very essential of the Hinduism believers, because the goal of healthy life among human beings, of course, very important. So that's kama. Artha is the virtuous pursuit of wealth and economic prosperity. Very essential to one's life as well in fulfilling one's obligations to her or his loved ones and the society as well. So the Dharma, aside from being the moral law, the Dharma is also regarded as an important goal of Hinduism, because it individual is expected to live in an ethical and morally sound way. So values and morality. And then, of course, the ultimate one, the moksha, is considered the most important goal of Hinduism. Or in Hinduism, this is the liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth, and known as samsara, which everyone really wanted to achieve, or they have to achieve this because it leads them to union or unity or solidarity with Brahma. So to attain moksha or nirvana, for that context, one must nurture his or her relationship with God, be aware of his or her oneness with all living beings, cultivate knowledge of his, her true self, instill compassion in her heart, in his heart, and avoid engaging in worldly desires. That's why to do that, yogas can help you, or pathways that can be taken or practice to attain this ultimate goal of Hinduism, the moksha. That's why you have to practice yoga, the karma, the bhakta, and the jnana, and the raha. So it's likely these are four major pathways of Hinduism. Again, we reach the highest goal or the ultimate goal of moksha, or the again ultimate happiness. Then the sound Om is heard at the beginning and the end of all prayers. So we have these mantras in their meditations, exercises, in Hinduism, this is regarded as the most sacred sound in the religion. So Hindus believe that the sound first emerged during the creation of the universe and still heard the vibrating up in the presence. Om Shanti is an expression or wish in Hinduism, which means may peace prevail on earth. So these are the important teachings and, of course, beliefs of Hinduism. And then we know that Hinduism is one of the pioneering religions, particularly in polytheistic religions in the world. And of course, aligned also many alignments or many beliefs that can also be traced from the beliefs of the Buddhists. So thank you so much for listening for our lesson or lecture on the religion of Hinduism. God bless everyone. Have a nice day.